Okay, hey, welcome back. Going over the onboarding and setup for a new user for Pete, or new company for Pete, I should say. And we're going to go over marketing, your campaigns, how you keep track of where your leads are coming from, all that fun stuff. So I see a lot of people who are very, very basic with their campaigns. They say, you know what, I really don't want to track this or that or anything else. And then there's people who are crazy detailed on their campaigns. I personally am somewhere in the middle, a little bit more detailed. Um, it helps. It helps make decisions later when you want to change your advertising or you're thinking about changing your advertising or, hey, I don't think this method is working. I'm going to cancel it. If you're tracking where your leads come from, gives you the ability to make those informed decisions. So in Pete, over on the left, go to settings and marketing, and you're going to start out at campaigns because once initial setup's done, that's where you're going to go most of the time if you come in here. But I'm going to hit on the first um, tab over here on the left, campaign teams, and then I'm going to skip all the way over to the right and go over lead sources first. So campaign teams. I have campaign teams for lead managers and managers. I have three in this one, two in this one. If I need to edit them or delete them, I can do them here. So all that the campaign teams are groups of users that um, distribution of leads or phone calls can go to. So for example, I named this one lead managers. I put myself, Amy, and Pete help. But in this one, I called it managers, and I just put Amy and I. So nothing's happening with those yet. They're just groups of people, and they're just sitting there doing nothing at the moment. I'll show you where we do those, or where we configure those, or where we put those into play here in just a minute. Jumping over to the right to lead sources. So you send out a mailer, and then you change the mailer a month, 2 months, 6 months, 3 years later, whatever the case is. And hopefully, when you made that change, you changed the phone number on the mailer. So you know which mailer people are calling in on. You know which change. If you're doing A/B testing, they have different phone numbers. So you know which one's working and which one's not. That's great. But when you say, let's say you're looking at KPIs or overall the high picture, I don't care about this postcard versus this postcard. I want to know how my mail did, or I want to know how my uh, organic web traffic or my direct web traffic or my pay-per-clicks work. I don't care if it's this ad Google campaign or another Google campaign. Lead sources gives you the ability to group campaigns together. So web direct, web organic, cold calling, wholesaler, um, things along those lines are lead sources that you can put together to group campaigns. Okay, now I'm going to come over to campaigns. Like a lot of our screens, you'll notice that there's a dashboard at the top. I'm on the company dashboard. If I click this, I'll see my personal dashboard. Right now, campaigns are empty. I don't have any filters on. Nothing's being filtered in the grid. I can check that right here. Let's create a campaign. Hit the plus, name the campaign what I want. John's new, no, John's awesome new, I can't type, campaign. It is good practice to have a default campaign. So if the system ever has to guess, it knows which one to guess. Description. Uh, None. You don't have to put anything here. I'm just going to put none. Now you select your lead source. What type is it? Is it, if we wanted to track direct mail letters, or if we just wanted to check direct or radio or vendor, whatever the case is. And these, if you remember from just a moment ago, these lead sources can be adjusted. They can be modified. Let's say TV. Allocated phone number. Phone number can only be allocated to one campaign. Makes sense. If you click this and there's no phone numbers listed here, you don't have any phone numbers available. We have another video. If you don't know how, you can go to phones and get a new phone number. Now, if it's a campaign that doesn't have a phone number, let's say it's a campaign that's a cold calling campaign and you just want to track your cold calling. Okay, you don't have to assign a phone number. And then campaign type. Is it a single user? So if a lead comes in this way, whether it's a phone, text, or, web form, who do we want to get this? Do we want to go a single user? Okay, we'll select the single user. Or let's say we want a team, like a campaign team, and I want this to go to our lead managers. Okay, you have more than one person in there, so how do we want to handle it? Round robin, if you remember in lead managers, I had myself, Amy, and Pete help. Let's say I'm first in line, first lead that comes in is going to give it to me. Next lead that comes in is going to give it to Amy. The third lead, it'll give to Pete help, fourth one to me. Now, the system is smart enough to say, okay, but if Amy doesn't answer the phone, we don't want to leave that lead just shit out of luck. So it'll go ahead and move on to the next person. So it's a balancing, it tries to balance things. Queue, it's going to put the person on hold and they're going to wait for the first person available, um, and then it'll ring to their phone. So if you have more than one person, it goes off of who's the next, who hasn't had one recently. But you call in, you're waiting, you have the hold music. That's what the queue is. Shotgun, it's going to ring all of the people in that team at the same time, and whoever answers it first gets the lead. And then voicemail, it doesn't go to anybody, it just goes to a voicemail box. Okay. Um, Optionally, you can set a team role to set. So you may say, hey, if somebody calls this number and this person answers, I want to just mark them as the operations manager. Let's say maybe it's an office line. You can leave that blank as well. A voice prompt if you want it to say something specific when this comes on. So we've had a few times where people had specific situations where they wanted a specific message played to the caller before people answered. And then down here, if the call is missed, what happens? So whether it's a round robin queue, shotgun, or single user, if nobody answers, what do we want to happen? Well, we can have it go to voicemail. We can select which voicemail message we want to play, or we can forward to an external number. So if you have a oh shit number that you want to call in case nobody else answers it, but it's just this is just this time, put it in here. If you have a call center that answers calls at night, where you can put that in here as well. See, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah, IVR. So campaign type, it can also be an IVR. So if we had selected, so this is another video on the phones, but if we had set up an IVR, this is where we could tie an IVR to a campaign. So that is the basics on campaigns, setting up campaigns. Let me go ahead and just change this one to single user, John Nolan, and I'll save. Brings me back here. And now anytime if I want to check in on the stats of this campaign, when I come in here, automatically I'm going to see how many leads, appointments, offers, contracts, closing, and our closing percentage. All of these are for the last 30 days for this campaign. I can hit back, and now I have this grouping. I have something in this table. I can sort, I can group, see whatever I need to find.